Canadians are just good and accepting people. Accepting, that's a good word for it. They accept people from all cultures and walks of life, too. I was very impressed by their environmental awareness, too. They take trains and buses to work rather than drive most of the time, and are dedicated to recycling. In a lot of cities, you have to pay for garbage, whereas recycling is free. And if you do it right, you shouldn't really have any garbage anyway. At first, it was like this game of how exactly do we recycle, but then I saw the beauty of it all and admired that and miss it, to be honest. You know, I like how patriotic they are. I didn't know to the extent to which they were patriotic, and I admire that. Canada is a lot like America in the way people behave, their professions, their family situations, familial roles. The standard family was a mother and a father and children. Often both parents worked, not always, obviously, and they were dedicated to their work and happy people, too. They deal with the same trials and troubles that we deal with in America. Although their government and healthcare and politics are different there, really it's the same issues that we deal with in regard to family trials and oftentimes political trials. But they face it with an optimism and a kindness that we can all learn from, I think.
Generally, when people think of Canadians, I think they think that they're pretty nice. And I think that's pretty true. Canadians think about Americans a lot. But I don't think as Americans we think about Canadians very often. But there were always conversations going on about the pros of the Canadian government or medical or such and such system versus the cons of American. They think they've got it right. They're pretty proud of what they've done, and though sometimes the conversations are about the cons of Canada versus the pros of America, but that's not as common. So, and they know all sorts of things about the United States government, and they know the states, they know American history, which I don't know. When I first went to Canada, I didn't know anything about Canadian history, so I thought that was really interesting. They have a loyalty to the Queen. Even though they're their own separate country now, she kind of still has influence in their lives and in their system. They do speak a little bit differently. They do say hey or a in the washroom, and just little language variances that are fun to get used to and fun to embrace as a missionary. Hockey is a big deal in Canada. Even in the summer, there are groups that just continually play hockey all year round. The mall in Edmonton, the West Edmonton Mall, is really large, and it has a hockey rink in the middle of it that they use all year. And it's the cool thing to do to grow up playing hockey and getting good at it, or supporting your teams. Edmonton's team is the Oilers. I don't know the other teams very well.
The culture out in Canada was one that I wish we could reflect more here in America. They were so welcoming and so kind, especially on Newfoundland. Everyone's so willing to let you in the door, whether they wanted to hear your message or not, let you in, give you a cup of coffee, a cup of hot cocoa, or whatever you could drink, and just bring you in for some warmth. And very, very kind people, very generous. I've never seen that anywhere else, and it was a great example to me of how I want to be, being able to just have an open door to anybody. They also are very traditional. So their great-great-great-great-great-grandmother was a Catholic, so they're a Catholic. Or great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother did things this way, and so they do the things that way.